welcome to my first YouTube video about refinishing furniture. This week I am refinishing a Drexel 9-drawer solid wood dresser. I think it's from about 1970. We found it on Facebook Marketplace. It was at an estate sale. The posting said no holds. It was only $50 and I knew it was going to go fast. So we got there about 10 minutes before the doors opened. And my husband just backed his truck in and we were able to pick it up pretty easily. It sat in my garage for a month or two while I figured out what I wanted to do with it. My friend Shannon at Black Sheep House and I have been talking about how we're seeing light blue everywhere all of a sudden. I think light blue might be the new green. I used to paint so many things green and now I'm seeing light blue everywhere. So this week I decided to paint this piece light blue and strip the top and do a tan wash. And then we're going to add some brass hardware and brass legs to give it a modern feel. And that's the plan. Let's get into the video. Alright, so we've got some cleaning done, some wood filling done. We mixed up some quick wood to sharpen these corners up. Now we're going to get some sanding done. We've got to sand back that wood filler, get some scuff sanding done. I'm using a couple different techniques, I guess. Sanding blocks, sanding sponges, orbital sanders. Got to bust everything out on some of these projects. My husband thought it looked really cool to see the sander shave down the wood filler to really sharpen those corners that have been worn down over the years. I like to use my orbital sander to scuff sand all of my flat surfaces as well. In some of the previous footage, I used my carbide scraper and my orbital sander to strip down the top to bare wood. Now we're going to tape that off so when we go in to prime and paint, it stays clean. And Chippy, my cat, likes to come join me in the shop sometimes, especially when it's close to dinner time. I'm choosing to prime with some Kills oil-based primer. This is an old piece that has been stained dark, and I was worried about tan and bleed through when I was going to paint this a light blue. So I'm choosing an oil-based primer. You could also use a shellac-based primer to block tan and bleed through. I forgot my mask for a couple of minutes while priming. We gotta save our lungs and wear our mask when we're spraying paint or sanding. So when we first moved into our house, we replaced the flooring in my daughter's bedroom, and I kept some of the pieces of LVP or whatever this is, and it works great to block overspray when I'm spraying drawers. Now I've got to sand things smooth so we can get on to the fun part, painting the color. All of this prep work, we're almost to painting. But there's still more sanding. You think you're almost done, and there's still more sanding to be done. My husband thought it was interesting that I'm always feeling things in all of these videos. But I mean, your hands are a great tool to see if there's any roughness or divots or anything that need to be filled or smoothed out. Now we get the fun part, paint. So I picked out this light blue at Home Depot in the PPG Breakthrough formula, and it was a little too light at first. Sometimes it's just so hard to pick colors on those little paint swatches. So even though I thought this color was going to work out, I actually ended up using this color as a base and adding some navy and dark green just to deepen it just a little bit, because I just thought it was a little too pastel, Easter eggy. But you'll see that in a little bit. You always want to strain your paint even when it's new, because you don't want any boogers flying out of your paint sprayer onto your piece that you have to sand smooth. And you always want to thin your paint a little bit, especially with like the Wagner Flexio 5000. It needs to be thinned a little bit to get a good smooth spray. I'm always saving big pieces of cardboard to test out my spray pattern before I spray on the actual piece. You honestly almost can't see that this is blue next to the white primer. It was so light. Like I was not feeling this color, and I ended up changing it later. I saw so much wood grain on just this side. The other side wasn't so bad, but this side, I thought that the oil-based primer would do a little bit of filling, but it did not. So I watered down some wall spackling And I'm just applying it with like a Bondo, it's not a scraper, a Bondo wood filling tool. So I filled both sides and then sanded them smooth. And then now you get to see the new color. Let's talk numbers on this piece. I spent $50 on the dresser itself, $20 on paint, $30 on knobs, and $25 on the legs. That puts my all in at $125. I think I spent about 10 hours on this piece, and I expect to get $650 for it. That puts my profit at about $50 an hour. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and stay tuned for another flip next week. Bye.